Welcome back. You're still on my channel, Fumi Suleiman, and we're still talking about my faith and my entrepreneurship journey. And as I journey along, and I'm so glad you're here with me growing as well. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to hear. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you. God bless. Shalom.
So I think from then on, I started finding my voice. I started finding my own place, and I won't say it was all rosy all the way, but those are early lessons I remember my mom telling me that I had to have with her, And even while I was growing much older, my older sister too played a very significant role in encouraging me and, giving me pep talks. And because like I said, because I was an very emotional child, you would do things to me, hurt me, and I would just go and, enter my shell and, and just in a world, a bubble of my own. And she had to talk to me, almost like what my mom did to me when I was, talk to me when I was a baby.
Yeah.
And it helps, And now you can hardly keep me, you can hardly keep me quiet now.
So how did that lead to that event, that interaction with your mom and your elder sister currently?
Okay.
How did that affect your going in to become an HR professional? The reason why I'm asking that question is, remember when we started, I said you have a lot of fans.
Mm.
And I noticed that most of those people were from where we worked, multinational company where we worked.
Mm.
And even while we were working, there was something I noticed about you. Always trying to make people stand up with their head high. You understand? Whatever they're going through in the business and outside the business. The way you talk to people and interact with people. The way you make them feel comfortable, even when let's say new joiners, you know what I mean by new joiners, when they come to you, they start acting like they're trying to get used to the environment. And when they come to you, they start becoming comfortable within that environment because of probably the way you spoke to them and probably the way you ushered them into the company, right? Would you say what your mom did then was what actually affected your being relatable as an HR professional?
HR, I stumbled into HR actually. I didn't, probably we don't have enough time, maybe another time. But for HR, I had just left the bank I used to work with, had just been gazetted by the number one banks of all the countries. I don't want to mention them.
Yeah.
And so we just, on Friday, we had, everybody was at work. You go home in the evening, Monday morning, you get to work and the organization, gazetted, all your colleagues are outside, the gates are locked, and, you just become unemployed all of a sudden, no plans, no. So it took me a while to get a job. And I went for a vigil. And everything that happens, you just realize that God just has, if you sit down and you go through your life's journey, you find that God has always been with you all through, even when you never realized that he was there.
That's true.
So I was at home. By this time, I was already irritating my mom at home. No work, nothing, no money. I was still young, but so I think we were just getting into that space. So we were just the fighting was just too much. So I spoke to one of my friends, and I'd like to mention her name, Nkiru Lumide Uju. Then she wasn't married. And I just called her. She called me and we're just chatting, and I was just telling her I just had a fight with my mom. And she just said, you know what, I'm coming to pick you for vigil. There's vigil on Friday. Now this vigil, she had just gotten married then. Now this vigil was for people looking for the fruit of the womb or something. The two main reasons why you will go for this vigil, I did not qualify for them, but I just wanted to leave the house. And my friend obviously saw that, I needed a breather. So where else to go but the presence of God? And on that day, she picked me up and we went to church. So while we were there, we saw a number of mutual friends. So in between the vigil, there's a place you get like 30 minutes to 1 hour break, and then we resume. So while we had the break, all the friends, made a beeline for one another, and we started catching up. And out of everyone, there was 2 other sisters there who also were job hunting. And, so we're just trying to catch up on anything. And one of them said that she did this exam for this multinational, not the one we worked in, and that she did not make it. And the second one said, she was like, I can't imagine, as easy as that test was, I didn't make that test. And the second one said, not only did I not make it, I sat for the test twice. You would think that because I sat for it the first time, I will have an understanding and, pass it. That the 2 times I didn't make it, So while we were talking, she mentioned that her husband was very good friends with one of the HR managers in that organization.
Yeah.
And her husband happens to be my younger sister's boss, Olake's boss. So I didn't say anything to them because I did the test and I passed. And the reason why I did not progress was because the next level interview, I got the courier came to me a week late. So I never went for it. It was like a no-show, And I remember my auntie, when she came to give us a letter, because it was her address we used, she said to me, you know what, you can still go. You never know what can happen. Just try out. But I never did. I just took the letter, kept it somewhere. And I never threw the letter away. I never tore it. I just kept it.
Yes.
So when the 2 ladies were talking about, them, I did this. I won't tell them. I don't want to make them feel bad. So I got home that night. I sent a text message to my sister. Folake, Debo's friend works in this place, blah, 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 blah. I'll talk to you when I wake up. Mm-hmm. This was Saturday morning, Yeah. By Monday morning, my sister's call is the first phone call I get. At the time they called me, they had already spoken to the gentleman who was in HR of the organization and explained to him my scenario. And the gentleman was waiting for my phone call, So back and forth, I went to the office, and at that time they were not recruiting. They were just doing part-time positions. Right. So I was willing to do it. Of course, someone who has been, I think by this time I'd been at home, like, I don't remember 3 or 4 months. I don't remember now. So anything was anything. So I quickly said, yes, I was going to do it. So they put me through some little tests. I, of course, passed the tests. And I started work. I got a letter immediately, So I worked with them for about 3 months, and then a permanent role came open. And the position was a HR position. Yeah. All right. Where I was working temporarily. And then the permanent role came out. It was a HR position, but in another state in Nigeria, which I was willing to. My mother was like, don't go. My dad, everybody was like, I said, guys, I've been at home for a while. I'm losing my mind. Let me go. And that's how I now went for, I took the job, and that's how come I started doing HR. I want to believe that, yes, my background with my family and my kind of person I am, my personality, helped me be the HR person that I was. Because, you only give, you can't give what you don't have. Yeah. And because I was a sensitive person growing up, I tried to put myself in other people's positions. How would you feel if you were the one coming in? So that was how I related with people, and I didn't know that it was a ministry that was budding then. I just felt, just do your best, give your all, and at that time I started becoming an entrepreneur. And, one of the things the Bible says is, you're faithful in little, then you'll be given more. So I wanted to be found faithful in what I was doing in my 9 to 5, so that my own personal one too would thrive. On days I was sloppy on my job, I would see it replicate with my staff in my business. So it was like very clear night and day that, you're only going to get what you give. So I put my everything, and this was even long before I became a part-time entrepreneur. I just felt, my mom would say, what is what doing is what doing well. Yeah. So if you're going to do it, then do it, give it your all. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it for me.
Oh, wow. Before my next question, Bola Lamidi just said a few minutes.
Hey,
well done, guys. Bola Lamidi from the Almighty.
Hey, as Ramita hits, I used to call Bola. Bola. My people are asking, people in the factory, Ramita hasn't hit, so they're going to down tools. Bola will be like, why?
Well done, sir. I didn't follow in that joke. So I didn't say anything about anything, sir. So greetings to you, Dakola Lamidi. Then on YouTube, I see Lady JMK.
Oh, my sister,
Alola.
Jumoke. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then this my friend from high school. He's just trying to spoil my show, but I won't say anything to him now. Let me just leave him alone. We'll talk about that later. So, so you said while you were working for the multinational business, I'm trying not to call the name of that because it was a wonderful organization. Most of the
Try hard. Oh yeah.
One of the
Very,
things I
very.
learned in IT today was from that organization. So I really appreciate both the people, relationships there, and what I learned from that business.
You know, when I dropped the flyer, they remembered you. So I said, not Obinna from IT. I said, yes. I said, wow. I said, okay, so make it a reunion. Come on board.
Yeah.
They remembered you.
It's wonderful. When I remember the organization and what I'm doing today, man, it's so many things that added up. There was a reason why I went through that phase. Right. So I just appreciate God for everything. The things, the people, everything. The food in the canteen.
You know, the truth is, I wasn't eating at home. I would come to work with, my flask of it was either black tea, because I just found that I was lactose intolerant. So was it that black tea or cocoa? I don't want to mention the name because they're not paying you. Cocoa without milk. So I would have that I have like 2 of it for breakfast. And then I would have lunch much later in the evening, you know, because of work, or I just, you know, lost my appetite or something. And I would go home, I would just go to bed, you know, and for years, I saved money. I'm sure it's part of the things that helped me build my personal business, because I had enough money stacked because I wasn't really eating, you know, apart from I was eating office food. Yeah. More. So of course on weekends I didn't used to go to work on weekends. Very rarely, you know. So of course at weekends I'll make food. So they really did have good food, even though we used to complain then. We used to complain. And the portions were wow.
The portions were really big. Yes. Those guys tried though. You just exposed both of us now, but those guys tried. Those guys really, really tried. Even when I come to work during the weekends, because sometimes someone will be done and they'll be like, "Oh, let's fix the weekends." You'll be happy to come because you eat well.
Because you know you eat well.
Me, I don't have time to cook at home now. I was living alone, so I didn't even have time to cook it. So me and Dami then will just be switching. Sometimes Dami will just come and meet me, or come and meet Dami. You understand? You know how it works. So that's what it is. Oh, thank God that we are here today.
Oh yeah. Well done, guys. Sorry, we can't mention your name. God sees you. God bless you. Thank you.
So there's this guy. He says, "I'm Demola Adelabu." Do you know him?
Yes, I know that name. Oh yes. I worked with him on both platforms, both the old multinational and the one we're talking about.
Oh wow!
What did he say?
No, he just said he's just saying hi.
He said hello.
This is and there's this other guy, FOK. I don't know. You know they use short names.
I don't know FOK. Sorry, help us.
Yes, he's trying to say hi to you, anyways. Your people are plenty, because you kept talking about why you're working with that multinational. You were also So how did you start your entrepreneurial journey? Did you start when you started while you were working with that multinational? You started way before that time?
I started. I think I started properly in that first multinational that I worked in, because I started to travel as an adult there. Before then, any traveling I did was with my parents and, you know, young child. But, you know, when I started working, I started traveling on my own. And after the first 2 trips, I would come to work and my colleagues would say, "Why didn't you buy this thing for us now? This is lovely. You would have made money, you know?" So they started dropping in the ideas to me that, you know, because I'd never done, I take it back, I'd done buying and selling before.
Yeah.
The late Jai Aboderi was a big brother of mine. Stella, he made me and his wife, Stella Damascus, very close. Jai, yes, was a big brother of mine. And so his cousin's wife was from, I think, Sierra Leone or Senegal, I can't remember. And so she would go, she had this an ailing mom then. So she was going home very, very often. And when she came back, she would come with all those kentes and all those our African prints, you know. The original was authentic, lovely. She had an eye for lovely colors, you know. And so he spoke to her and told her that at that time I was working for Egoboyo. Sorry, as if I'm dropping names, but I really like to appreciate people who helped me in my journey. You know, I really, everyone here, I remember them with so much love and gratitude, honestly. So I was working with Ego. I had just finished, I worked with her as a copper, and then she retained me. I worked with her for like another 2 years, but I felt I needed something more. I didn't see myself in the movie industry. So I felt I wanted something corporate. So that's when I left her and went to work in the bank. Yeah, okay. So, but while I was working with her, that's when I started doing this Binance. So Jai introduced me to his cousin-in-law, his cousin's wife. And, you know, she would give me material and I would resell and, you know, give the money back to her. Everything was on credit because I was young and I didn't have money. I was just starting off. So he kind of stood like a shorty. And because she knew me, because they were staying together, you know, so I would come very often and just stay in the house and be there all day with Stella and Jai and would chat and go out or whatever it is. I was just a little sister. Yeah. But it was after Jai passed on, I realized that I was actually older than Jai. But because he was, you know, of course, bigger and, you know, he started life earlier, there was things I was learning from him. But, you know, it was as if we had I was older than him, but our relationship was younger sister to older brother, if you get what I mean. Yeah. You know. So, and that's how I started, you know, building my finances. So much that even Ego bought from me, you know, she came and picked a number of things, Joke Silva, Funlola Ofie. That's how I met all these people now that are my friends till tomorrow. Funlola Ofie, all of them, they were, of course, movie industry, like I said. So they would come and do stuff in the studio or they were coming to do stuff for a movie, you know. So I got to meet them, oh, lovely and speak well and, you know, and that's how relationship started.